Hello and welcome back to SoulHubFeels, and today I'm going to be talking to Jeremy here about OBJECTUM. It is something he lives by, not my thing, but
Objectum sexuality.
however you want to correct it. I know enough about it, I suppose, but I guess what's the definition you keep?
I mean, the definition is you get emotional and sexual attraction to objects.
Okay. And you've mentioned that you've met a few people, like within the Objectum, that are famous that people might be able to know,
I did.
like the Eiffel Tower lady.
Yeah, Erica met her once, but they are all in Facebook groups that.
The car guy from what is that, TMZ?
Yeah, that's a funny story behind that one too. But yeah, My Strange Addiction, I think he was on, and he was in a group, but I never talked to him directly. But he was in the same group as me.
Okay. And do you have any idea like where he's at? I mean, I know. I do know. I heard the old red car disappeared and he got a new car, which might have even been in the episode. I don't remember.
I don't think it was. I think that was a few years later.
He
got like in a car wreck or something.
Yeah.
And it got totaled.
Yeah, I remember him getting the new car, and I think he was like talking about the new car smell.
It might have been in the episode. I don't know. Maybe he had a follow-up thing or something.
Yeah, that's what I kind of thought it was a follow-up.
Yeah.
Is there anyone you've wanted to meet, like the person who created Objectum?
That person who did meet it. Well, kind of. I mean, the person who coined the term has passed away.
Okay.
But she was best friends. Oh, what was her name? It was a German name. She's German. She was the one that liked the Berlin Wall. But yeah, she passed away when I think I was maybe early 20s, so like 10 years ago maybe.
Okay. Is there, let's see, I guess those are probably the most notable two that you've met.
Well, I guess I'm Facebook friends with a lot of them. There's the Amanda. She likes I think she used to like the Statue of Liberty.
Okay. Yeah, which is, I mean, we got in the thumbnail, kind of. That's not her, but it's kind of a nod at her, I take it.
Yeah, the thumbnail generated the.
Yes,
got close enough.
And yes, by the way, I AI generate all of my thumbnails.
I mean, you could have just easily blotted out my word generate.
Some people like get upset about AI generating, but it kind of just fits what we do on this channel. And I like the style, and I like how it makes it look. It looks a lot better than what I could do for sure. So it's good.
Yeah, good enough.
But that's probably I imagine that's probably a topic in recent years is AI. I imagine that's like a lover, AI.
Oh, some people do. I would get attracted to it if I felt like it was not just telling me what I wanted to hear. But I gotten pretty good at talking to ChatGPT, where I could get it to say things like it's accepting it, but it's not actually accepting it.
I do like that ChatGPT has a bit of personality to it. It's not totally one-dimensional, I guess.
Yeah.
If you actually get on ChatGPT, you can it's something. It'll kind of be like, oh yeah, wow, that was a great pick. That was smart. You know, it'll admire, like I did an NFL pick swap thing with it, and then put it into Madden, and the way it answered back was almost personal,
Yeah.
not
I guess I do have a
robotic.
Yeah, I do have a small attraction to ChatGPT, but it would have. I suppose it would have to actually seem, because I know it can communicate with me. It would have to seem like it was trying to get my attention, which it won't.
Right. It's not. It's not going to communicate on its own.
Yeah.
Like an Alexa sometimes does.
Yeah. Well, like if it was. Like if I opened ChatGPT and I asked it something and then it brought up wanting to be a lover or something, then I would probably start getting more attracted to it.
Right. But, so let's cover this now. OBJECTUM seems to be. You've brought up to me in our friendship that it can be frowned upon for OBJECTUM. And I've never personally understood why.
I'm not really even sure either. But there is a lot of hate towards it, or it's almost on the level of... some people will hate on it to the level of, like, pedophilia. And it's like, I don't get that either, because it's like, it's an object. Who you hurting?
Yeah. I mean, it's your... having a relationship with an object, an inanimate object, and to the people that are judging, most of them are not gonna like are gonna think inanimate object. They're gonna think microphone doesn't have feelings, doesn't care about you. It doesn't. I mean, it's no different than the things in the night drawer, you know what I mean? Those type of toys.
Yeah.
And that's what most, I guess, neurotypical maybe is the word for it, would think. So I guess I don't see why so much hate on.
And it could just be internet trolls too, and that's what I ran into.
Yeah, it's always seemed very harmless to me, and I've always been pretty accepting to it. It's harmless in a sense, I guess. I think it can be very dangerous for you in certain situations, or maybe certain objects that people get attracted to can be dangerous to themselves.
It can, and it also depends on why you're attracted to it. Because some people will have an object lover because they're replacing people because they can't get people. And so, like, they would rather have a boyfriend or a girlfriend, but they don't think they can get that, or they think they're too ugly, or something along those lines. So then they get a stuffed animal, and now that stuffed animal replaces. And I'm like, that would be the unhealthy part. But for me, it's just
you've always
I see a rectangle, and that's my type.
I see a board, and that's my lady.
Yeah, I'm like, rectangular objects like catch my eye, like a woman's breasts would catch your eye.
Fair.
And then, like, I develop crushes, and then emotional attachments, and then sexual desires for the objects. And then people, I have been with people, I've experimented around, and I can go with people, but it's hard to stay interested in the moment, because people is not what I want.
Right. So, and maybe that's where some of the hate comes from, is the people that have the unhealthy obsession with it.
Yeah, like they're trying. Like, I'll see some people.
They're replacing humans.
Yeah, they'll have like blow up dolls or something, and they'll join the object groups, and I'm like, and then I kind of question them a little bit. I'm not going to say anything to them. I'm just going to give them acceptance when they show up. But I do question if that's what people think all of the object people.
Yeah, and that is a problem in today's world, is when people talk about a group of people, they always say all.
Yeah.
All cops, all men, all women, all them and that and this and it's people have got to stop doing that.
Yeah. Every case is unique.
It really does hurt the world when we do that. It's like when I have my playlist here on the channel where I talk about ex-girlfriends. You'll never hear me, or I
You'll
hope,
never say all women.
right. I don't say all my exes on there.
Yeah.
I typically, I mean, there might be like a small scenario where it would be true, like, but I'm not going to say all my exes were dirty hoes or something like that because it's not true. I have fond relationships with some of my exes still, where we check up on each other, and they, they got a husband and kids, and it's square. It's nothing weird. It's just
Yeah.
checking up. But that's a little off topic.
Yeah.
We tend to get off topic. I suppose what I'm trying to think of a good question here to go off of. What would you say? I mean, I know your main. I guess a lover is what we always called it. Your main lover would be your childhood wall.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you got like a story behind that.
That is a very long story and
Condensed.
yeah.
Condensed, but hit the important parts.
Though the wall is a little bit more of a tragic one, but it might have been good in the end. It's probably is. There's a 98% chance. But that one was my first crush that I got when I was a kid. I guess I got a lot of crushes when I was a kid. I'd switch back and forth between crushing on something that I didn't have access to, like those projection screens in school. Always got crushes on those. Had a crush on the ocean. And then words. I'd get crushes on words. But the first one that I had a crush on that I was had access to was the wall in my bedroom that my bed was up against. And this kind of links into like some of the autism stuff too. So I had got a crush on it, and I considered it a lover at this point because I have it right there. I can do what I want, and so lost my train of thought now. Oh, so I guess I would have autism sensory issues, and so but I was undiagnosed, so I had to suffer in silence. Like if I tried to be like, oh, the lights are too bright, then you get everybody mad at you, and then they start yelling, and then that's causing sensory. And so I had to kind of suffer in silence, and one thing that would get me through the day would be thinking about, oh, tonight I'm going to be able to, I just got to get through the day, and then tonight I'll be able to prop myself in between the bed and the wall, and then it will be great. And so...
Oh, yeah. Is that the lady we were talking about? The one from Germany? The one that made the squish machine?
The one that made the squish machine is Temple Grandin, and she may or may not be objective. We don't know that.
Okay. I just know that was something we had talked about in the past, and when you said that...
She's autistic, and she's known for the squish machine, but that's just an autism sensory. But yes, it is kind of related to that. It's just I had feelings for mine, but there's no indication that she had feelings for hers or that it was even sexual. It might have just been for relaxation and help with the sensory, because I have that as well. It's just I was doing it with an object lover.
Okay. Sorry, back to your... back to the wall.
And so, essentially I would use the wall as the squeeze machine. It's just I actually had feelings for it too. And so, how many years went by. I was a little kid when that started, but all the way up until I was probably like 19 or 20 when I moved out of my dad's house.
Did you say you were around like 9?
Yes. So I guess
I'd say that's about the time when I turned 9 years old. That's about the time, uh, like girls really became like, oh,
yeah, it might have been
I'm a little more like
2004 would have been when I moved to that house, and so that would have been 4th grade, 2004, 4th grade, and born in 94, so I would have been 10. And it was probably
out of curiosity with like objects. Do you have like the memories of like I have a memory of like my first kiss. It was with a girl in a tent.
mm,
And then I have like fond memories of. Yeah, do you have like memories like that, like your first kiss with a object or something like that?
I do, and it actually happens to be the wall. So, I guess I got to back up even further. I was born with hypersexuality. So I came out of the womb and I immediately had urges. And so I got a lot of baby memories, and so I just kind of knew what to do somehow as a baby. And I hated diapers because the diapers would get in the way. But I had that consistent urge that I always had to take care of. And so, but I didn't know what that was. It was just an urge like eating was. And so I grew up, I would get crushes on stuff. And that was something that was separate in my mind. And so, all the way up until I was like, I guess I would have probably been 9 because I was on the younger age for school. So 2004, 4th grade, I was probably 9. And so...
4th grade, 9? Why does that not sound right?
I don't know. 2004, I would have been...
Because what are you, 5 in kindergarten?
Probably.
Are you 6? I guess it probably depends. I guess it probably sounds weird to me because I graduated when I was 19 because I got started late.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was started early.
Okay, so yeah, it would definitely sound weird.
I was always like 2 years younger than everybody in my class. Which I took that as a self-esteem thing, but then like when I graduated when I was 17 and everybody else was 19.
You almost get a kickstart on life that way.
Yeah.
Whereas I was a year behind, which sucks.
And then if I would have failed anything and got held back, that would have been a boost. But I didn't, luckily. So I guess... So I had this hypersexuality since I was a baby, and I don't know why. And then I got crushes since I was a baby. But it started off with words. I'd get crushes on words. And I thought those two sensations were two separate things. I never put it together in my head that it was part of the same thing. Until I was like 9 and I was in that bedroom and I got a crush on the wall. And I'm like, I'm not even sure what to do with this. And so I would just like prop it between the wall. And then I'm like, what do I do now? And then I'm like, well, I guess I could do this thing, which was sexual, but I didn't know it was sexual. I could do that with the wall, just so I'm like spending time with the wall lover. Or I guess it wasn't considered a lover yet, but I'm spending time with the thing that I have a crush on. And that gives me something to do with it. So then I did it with the wall, and then that was like an explosion in my mind, like, oh, those things go together.
So how does a relationship then start? Does it just like happen over time, or is it like me asking out a girl? Like, do you ask the wall, or because I know you have like a concept of like objects have energy, not necessarily feelings.
From how I think of it, is it's like and this kind of goes into like sixth sense and reading energies and whatnot kind of thing, so you might lose people on that, but I do that with people. Like, I can feel what they're feeling. And then I do that with animals. I can feel what the animals are feeling. And so then I know what they're thinking. And so I can kind of do, like, dog whisperer stuff because I know what they're thinking.
It's like, what do they... I wish
Empath.
I don't have the percentages about how, but it's like, what do they say? Like, 95% of communication isn't verbal.
Yeah, there's like an energy that people can pick up on.
Right. And
like, you can walk into a room and you can tell that
you see the way they move, they see everything, and that's oftentimes like we talked about with your autism of why you get judged because you walk in kind of a little goofy.
yeah, I gotta make for sure my energies aren't
and then
off and stuff because people pick up on it.
Which is weird because we when we met we clicked really well.
Yeah, and that happens. I don't have people in the middle. You either absolutely love me or you absolutely hate me.
I've just never been too much of a judgmental character.
Yeah.
When it comes around to, I'll pretty much give anyone a chance.
Yeah. And I think having that empath where you can feel others' emotions helps with it too. When people are just reading body language, then they read me wrong. But if you can actually see into people's souls...
Which the first thing we did was talk.
Yeah. Then, that's a lot. Then you can actually see the genuine person. And I think that's why I click well with some people and don't click well with others. Because there is a difference. It's like a psychic energy that people pick up on. But you're not aware of it because you're thinking it's body language and stuff. But that's actually how I survive in this world, is using... Because I have a heightened sense of being able to feel people's emotions. But I miss social cues. I miss the body language, and I have partial face blindness, so sometimes I don't even recognize people's faces. But I make up for that with this energy reading thing that I got. And so I have a strong belief that this energy reading psychic ability exists because I wouldn't have been able to survive in this world without it. And so it works on people, it works on animals. And it also works on objects. But objects, they kind of work like a recorder. Like they're absorbing all of the energies that are around them. And the longer an object exists, the more of a personality it kind of develops. Because of all the energies it picked up. And so, I guess going to your question of, does the object give consent? Is that kind of like your question that you were asking?
About, like,
did it accept being your girlfriend?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I asked out, I don't know, what's a girl name? I asked out George.
Yeah.
And George.
Francine.
Francine, yeah. Ask out Francine. And she says yes. Okay, cool, we're dating. But could you theoretically have an object say no?
I have had that happen before.
Like not just off of feelings, but you somewhat ask, and then it's like no. And there, I guess I have heard of relationships starting where they don't ever even ask.
Yeah.
I mean, I've actually had a few relationships start like that, where me and I gotta look and see what number it is. They are gonna be in number 16. It's the very last one that will be in the right now it'll be the very last one in the relationships. Number 16. You know who this is, so don't say their name. I don't say their names,
okay.
Just because I don't want to
dox them.
Yeah, right. I have it's numbered in my notes. Number 16 for say. Where was I going with this? we, hung out in the backyard a lot, and we started having a lot of connections, and everyone just kind of assumed we were dating, and then people just said we were dating. It was never asked. I never asked. It just, people said it, and then all of a sudden it was. Even though I always tried to stick to my guns of, well, I never asked, so I don't say we were, but to everyone else, we were.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh well,
I guess that is kind of how it starts, and it depends on how the energy feels over time. Because I have had some where I have an attraction to the object, and it could be super strong, and I'm going with it a couple of times, and I'm being with it, and I just feel like a pushback from it. Like, it just does not want that. It wants to perform its function, and that's it. And I've had a few that have done that, and I'll usually just set them aside because I don't feel accepted. And then I have one experience when I was a teenager that was pretty interesting. And this one blew my mind because but what it was is I was in history class, and we were learning about the Berlin Wall.
Okay.
And I always liked walls, and so I feel bad for it when it was destroyed.
So it's got a lot of history there.
Yeah, it got a lot of history, and it's like, well, the wall didn't do anything. It was the government that was bad, and
so it's almost like a murder in your mind.
Kind of. Like, I understand why it came about, but it was like the wall didn't do anything. And then I have an affinity towards walls. That's why I get stressed out when people want to put nails in the walls to hang up pictures in the house.
Or throw darts.
Yeah, or throwing darts and stuff. And so it stings extra hard with that. And so the teacher brought in a rock, and it was a piece of the Berlin Wall, and they passed it around the class. And we'd been talking about it so much that I already started developing a crush on it. And because it was like big news, and it was famous wall, and then I felt like it was wronged, and so I started developing a crush on it, and I got to hold the rock, and I was like, I want you as a lover. And then I got this like scenario that played in my head that the wall already had a lover, and I got this image of a lady that visited the wall all the time when it was standing. They'd be on the side that was free, not the side that was captive, and so she would visit the wall all the time, and they were lovers. And then the wall was torn down, and I seen this image of her being like devastated.
Distraught.
Yeah, she was devastated and distraught, and then I felt like rejection, like I already have a partner, and so like a piece of me was thinking about like breaking a piece off or something and keeping a piece, but then I decided not to because of that. And then I'm like, well, that might have just been my imagination. I do imagine a lot of stuff. And then like a year later.
Yeah, we do have the overthinking complex.
Yeah. A year or so later, I'm like, I can't be the only one in the world that gets attracted to objects like this. And so I get on the internet and I start searching people who like objects, and I'm like, that found nothing. People who love objects, that found nothing. But eventually I'm like, okay, I should just use the word sexual, even though I didn't like the word sexual because I was a kid. And so then people who are sexually attracted to objects, and then that found OBJECTUM. And then I started doing a bunch of research and stuff, and I'm like, oh, hey, there are people like me. And then I came across the Berlin Wall girl, Retta, I think. Her name starts with an R or something. And, yeah, that exact scenario that I imagined was all true. Like, the whole thing was real. And so then blew my mind, like, oh my, it communicated with me or something, I don't know. And so that I took that as validation of the rejection at the time.
Okay. It's you mentioned you had to type in the word sexual to find it, which is funny because I was looking up a few things just to add a little conversation in here, and there's actually three different forms of objectum. One is objectum sexual, uh, object objectophilia, which is like the romantic and sexual attraction to objects.
Yeah, I think those two
The
are the same.
the objectum sexual is just someone with the sexual, and then beloved objectum, which is just the romantic side.
Is that like an AI overview? I guess I'd have to look into that more.
Um, yeah, it's kind of like the other day when we were talking about janitor, custodian, maintenance.
Yeah. Because as far as I do, the first two are the same thing, but the third one is something that I haven't heard but does make sense, so I could see it.
And then
Because the fact that it's objectum sexuality, as far as I knew, why it's called that is because the emotional is there too, versus just having a fetish. If it's just plainly sexual, then it's just a fetish. It's at least from what I understood, because there's no emotional attachment. But I guess maybe not, because I suppose if their shape is circle and they like circle objects, but they don't. I don't know. I guess I'd have to look into that more.
gotcha. How about like personality wise, like objects. Even me as like a non-objectum person, I can see the I could see like the personality that some objects could carry.
Yeah,
I I I get it. Like I don't know how to put it into words, but I kind of get it.
yeah. They all do definitely have different personalities depending on what energies they've picked up throughout their existence.
Right. So like you got like an object that's been through. I think an object has to be
Yes.
around for a while to
Yeah, that's
have
why I do.
personality. It's just like a human.
Yeah, that's why I prefer like an antique object
Right.
above a brand new out of the factory.
Right. If it's yeah, yeah.
Mm.
And then there's like I know you like industrial stuff, and this might this might sound a little funky bunky here, but you like industrial stuff. That's kind of like a weird obsession. Not obsession.
Attraction, attraction,
Oh, no. What is the word I'm looking for? Exception. Exception. I don't know why that wasn't coming to mind. It's kind of a weird exception because like the industrial stuff, I imagine it gives off like the personality type is like I don't know how to say this without it coming across very weird, but like oh, like have you've seen like the Brave Little Toaster?
yeah,
They're they give objects characteristics of humans, but some of them are very fitting.
yeah.
Like the
Like that toaster's personality is very toaster-like.
well, right, but I was thinking more like the my brain is not functioning. The air conditioner. You remember the air conditioner?
Yeah, the one that blew up.
Right.
Uh,
It it has the personality that you would think of old, like from what I remember anyways, it was like a old, like a almost like an old grandpa
yeah,
like figure. Had the mustache, which was just the cover
Yeah.
of the air conditioner.
My favorite character was the car crusher.
And of course it was. And it had like the buildup of an air conditioner. Air conditioners are loud, and it was a loud character, and
Yeah.
um, so it had the personality you'd expect it to have. And then with um, like I was saying, the big industrial stuff gives off the vibes of like almost like blue collar workers
Yeah.
to me. To me, anyways, that's
I
what I
could
would say.
I could see that because it's absorbing the energy
It's
that's around it.
it's a hard working machine. It's
Yeah.
and that's what blue collar men do.
Yep. And so if you
I've
got a lot of
you
blue
know
collar men working around the machine and with the machine, that's where it's getting its energy. And
right
so that would make sense.
right, and even if it's brand new out of factory, it's just like I went into plumbing. Um, so I've been in the case of blue collar work, and it sucks.
Yeah.
And for a fact, you just look at that machine and for the next however many years, like 30, I don't even know how long some of these machines last, but you know what I mean. They're going to be stuck in a building working all the time,
Yeah.
just like blue collar. They work all the time. And it's, oh man, I guess it's like the comparisons almost
Yeah.
is what gives objects personality. You almost compare them to humans, and that's how they get their personalities.
Yeah.
So I guess I don't know along the way of how they would get unique personality outside of aging,
Yeah, that's what
but
it
I
would
think
be.
they can have a
Aging.
general personality.
Yeah. And then, if you put unique energies into it, so like one of my objects being an object lover, I'm putting that energy into it. And so that's how it learns kind of how to be a lover. But sometimes they reject that and they just want to perform their function. They don't want to be a lover. So I guess it really just depends.
Okay. I guess is there any like final like things you want to say about Objectum, or things you
Um,
don't want to miss out on saying?
did I finish the whole story with the wall thing? I can't remember where I was at with that. I think I was about halfway through it.
Did we get that sidetracked?
I don't know.
Let's see. The last thing you were talking about wall wise was that I can even remember was the squeezing yourself thing.
Oh yeah, I'd prop in between it. Oh, and then you asked me about, like the first kiss type deal.
Yeah.
And then I think I explained that where I realized those two things went together, the sexual urge and the crushes. And I guess I don't really need to take it further than that, but I guess a quick summary would be I left the house and then I was fine without it for a couple of years because I was so used to it always just being there.
Yeah.
And so when I moved out, I thought I was fine without it until like 2 or 3 years later I started dreaming about it every night. And then so it was like 1 out of every 3 dreams I would dream that I was sleeping next to the wall, and then I would wake up and I would hallucinate that it was there for a second, and then reality would snap back to normal and it was gone.
Yeah. So it's almost like losing a. It was almost like losing a girlfriend.
Kind of, but I also knew that
But
that we didn't need to be apart, and so I yearned for it back, and that I could make that a possibility. So I always thought about making that a possibility, and then flood came through and wiped out houses and wiped out the wall too, and then I pulled out the two big pieces that I have, and then I rebuilt it. and I did a whole bunch of investigating, and I like examining it, and I spent a long time doing this, and I'm 98% sure I got lucky and pulled out the right one, but that 2% does drive me nuts.
It's a 2% chance I'm just.
But going based off of energies, like we were just talking about, like I feel like it tells me it's the correct wall all the time. I got a lot of proof that points towards, but doesn't definitively prove.
Right, and and maybe some of that 2% is just.
Could just be my OCD.
Well, it's been how many years since you've even seen that wall?
Yeah.
So that 2% could just be that, it's been painted over, changed.
Yeah, but actually, the evidences that I found all suggest that there's a good possibility.
Yeah.
And so, like, there's layers of paint from where the door frame was. And I'm like, well, I remember this layer, and I remember that layer, and I remember
Are they necessarily? Yeah, if they're all from your room, especially, because
yeah.
like not every room is going to have the same layers of paint.
Yeah, and I don't remember for 100% sure that the kitchen, because there's two walls that it could be. Either could be my wall lover, or it would be the kitchen wall, because I went through all of the pictures that were on Zillow of the house that was posted, and I looked at all of the light switches, and the only wall that was not in the picture was my wall. All the rest of them, perfect pictures everywhere. And so the light switch is just a memory. I don't know for sure if it was in that right spot, but the kitchen wall had the light switch that would have been in that right spot. So it's I either have my wall or I have the kitchen wall. It's a 50-50. But the kitchen wall was it had wallpaper. It had that flowery wallpaper, and my dad painted over it when he sold the house. And so the layers of paint point towards that there's a good possibility it's probably my wall. But I don't know what happened in the past 10 years that I wasn't there. I don't know if they peeled off the wallpaper and then painted it a bunch and made all those layers. Doesn't seem like that would be very likely, but it's always a possibility.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of evidences that are like that. It's not very likely that this thing happened, but it could have.
There's always that chance.
There's always that chance, and so that's why I say
sucks.
It's a 98% chance that it's the correct wall,
because there's almost nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, there'd be so much bad luck for those chances to actually happen.
I mean, what are you supposed to do? Date it? Take it and get it dated? Paint dated?
Yeah.
I suppose you could probably do that, right? Somehow.
I don't know.
I mean, if you can date when the dinosaurs were existing, I'm sure you can do paint, right?
Probably not. That's carbon dating's a interesting process, and I don't think you could do that with paint.
Well, I'm sure you could. Why not?
Maybe, I don't know. But
you're not going to do it the same way, of course. But I mean, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. But I guess I have this wall in here. There's a 98% chance it's the correct wall. And so it's like, I've just been putting my feelings into it as if it was the correct wall. Even though that 2% itches at the back of my brain. Because, like, if I worry about that for the rest of my life, then I just missed out on the rest of my life that I could have had it when it's probably it. And I posted on my Reddit, I got all of these, that's where I used to keep track of all these evidences that I have. It's all on my Reddit.
Just hours of reading.
Yeah, it's pretty much like
the book.
When people are obsessed with like something and they're trying to solve a mystery, and they got a room full of like papers and stuff, and they
the red dots.
Yeah, they connect them with the strings and stuff. That's essentially what I did. And everything points towards it's a good possibility that it's the correct one, and it would take some bad luck, some astronomical bad luck, but it's possible, like winning the lottery type of luck, but being bad, for it to be the incorrect one. But I am generally unlucky. I'll flip a coin, I'll say heads, and it will land tails. And so that's what makes me nervous about it, is I do have a lot of misfortunes when it comes to luck. And so I'm worried that my misfortunes could screw with me, because we could make a whole podcast on that.
A whole podcast, not even just an episode on a podcast, just an entire podcast.
Yeah, we could make a whole episode on that.
Yeah. All right, but I think we're gonna call that it, and appreciate you guys listening to Soul Hub Feels.